everyone for Allison Fine, everybody! I am so glad to be here at Tacoma. This year has been off to a weird start for me. I started getting emails from MoviePass again. It was like getting a text from an ex, you know? It's like it was one summer 6 years ago. Get over it. One of the weirdest emails I got recently, though, was a survey from YouTube, right? They wanted to know about the demographics of their creators, so they asked me 4 questions, right? First, they're like, what's your gender? Male, female, non-binary. I said male. And then they said, what's your ethnicity? And I selected white. And then they asked, do you identify as a member of the LGBT community? And I said no. And then the 4th and final question that they asked was, would you like to be invited to special events and celebrations based on your answers to the previous questions? I think YouTube invited me to a hate group. They used to be way more subtle about it, you know? They just recommend Joe Rogan videos, let the rest work itself out, you know? But now they're like, YouTube presents January 6th, 2. Too fast, too treasonous. I feel like we're already all tired of the election, right? Like, we all know how it's gonna end, right? We all knew they weren't gonna take Trump off the ballot, right? We all know that they're gonna send him to jail, and they're still not gonna take him off the ballot. And then Joe Biden's gonna die, and they're not gonna take him off the ballot. I actually looked into it. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to be alive to be president. You think Joe Biden's team doesn't know that? Sorry, Kamala. And everyone says he's losing it, but the other day, Trump literally said he wanted to put a dome over the United States of America. What? This motherfucker watched the Simpsons movie. It was like, I've been looking for a new advisor. My goodness. Everything's changing, you know? Like, do you guys remember how different the early internet was? Right? Super pervy, right? Every website had like that pop-up ad that's like hot sluts nearby or whatever. They've totally turned it around. I was looking at porn the other day, and I got a pop-up ad that said, 5 ways to keep your dog healthy. And it put me in a tight spot. So I was really just there for the cum shots. But I do want my dog to be healthy. It was quite the conundrum. I'll be honest, I closed the window, but then I felt really guilty about it. Like, am I a bad dog dad? So I found myself going back to that website later when I wasn't horny and just clicking around to try to get back to that pop-up ad. I never found it. Even when I typed the word dog into the search. Tacoma's here to play, all right. You guys know incognito mode, right? Yeah, most people use it to look at their porn discreetly. But does anyone else use incognito mode when you just have a question that you're embarrassed to have in your search history? Like incognito mode? How many ounces are in a cup? Incognito mode? Is it okay for a white guy to use the word gracias at a Mexican food restaurant? Incognito mode? What are the 5 ways to keep my dog healthy? I grew up in a small town. A few years ago, I moved to Seattle, and there's been kind of a culture shock, you know? Like, you worry about different things living in a city. I left my apartment the other day, and on my doorstep was a 2-liter bottle of piss. Which, everything else aside, that's just a lot of pee. 2 liters, think about it. Like, I couldn't fill that up in one go. This was a project for somebody. And they finished the project. They have follow-through. So I'm gonna take it to get tested, because if it comes up clean, that's liquid gold. One big difference living in the country versus the city is parking. Okay, like in the country, if you need to park your car, it's very simple. You just drive it into a field, and you leave it there. And if it's there for too long, the community comes together, and they set it on fire. And that's parking enforcement the way God intended. But it's a lot more complicated in the city. I was going to a show the other day. The show was at 7, but it's like 7:05. And I lucked out. I found a space right out front. I'm like, this is amazing. You know, nothing bad can come of this. I go in to do the show, and it's one of those shows where the theme is that you're supposed to get super high and tell jokes, which also happens to be the theme of every show I do. But I got particularly high for this show, and when it was over, I came outside, and my car was gone. And there was another sign beneath the first one that's like, if you park here after 7, it's way worse. So I called the towing company. I'm like, did you guys take my car? They're like, no, we didn't take your car. It must have been stolen. You're gonna have to call the police. I'm like, that is way worse. So I call the police. I'm like, did you guys take my car? They're like, no, where was it taken from? What are the cross streets? Right, so I run down the street to the sign where the cross streets are, and when I get there, I see my car parked just a little further down the road. But I'm afraid that if I tell them that, they're gonna know that I'm high. So to throw them off the scent, I say, the criminal's bringing my car back. I think he had a change of heart. Thank you, officer. And they didn't suspect a thing. Hey, you guys, I'm Xack Fischer. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your night. Keep playing there. It's gonna kill us.